Alright, today's a special day over here at D.I.Y. Auto School because Minnie, the body shop girl, Minnie, my wife, is going to give us a demonstration on how to prepare a raw plastic bumper cover. Now, I have made several videos on bumper cover repair, bumper cover replacement, bumper cover painting, but this one here is a special video. This is a different video because this is actually preparing your bumper cover for the paint. And what bumper cover are we talking about? We're talking about the raw plastic from the factory OEM bumper cover. And what Minnie's going to do is she's going to walk us through the steps of how to prep that bumper cover properly so we can put it in paint and get this piece of shit out of our shop. And one more thing I want to say is have patience with Minnie, the body shop girl. She's a little bit nervous, but I think she'll be all right. She's actually in there getting herself, camera ready, you might say. So let's be patient with Minnie, and hopefully she's going to do a good job and not get nervous. Here we go.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Alright, Minnie, the body shop girl, what's going on today? What are we working on and what are we doing?
We are going to prep a bumper for paint. And this is not just any bumper. It's a plastic bumper.
Right, but aren't all bumper covers made out of plastic?
Well, yeah, they are, but some of them, when you buy them, come primed.
Well, they're already prepped, ready for paint.
Yeah, they have sealer or primer
So
on
they have a
them.
special factory sealer on them. So what makes this bumper cover different from that bumper cover?
Doesn't have anything on it. It's just bare plastic.
So what you're saying is this a harder bumper cover to prep up than, let's say, the one that you get with the primer?
Well, yeah, because there's no sticking value.
Right, this is straight out of the mold.
Right, there's nothing to adhere to, so we've got to
create a surface that will accept epoxy primer, paint, and clear coat.
Right, so it doesn't peel
and last for many, many years in case the customer gets hit.
Exactly.
And the paint doesn't fly off and peel off.
Right, well, the wind and rain doesn't beat it off.
So what do we need to start out with to get this prepped up and do the proper job?
Not much. You need one thing and one thing only, and that is Scotch Brite.
Okay, what is a Scotch Brite? What do you mean Scotch Brite? What is that?
Well, everybody pretty much knows. Women use it to clean their dishes with. Of course, it's usually green, the kind that they use in the kitchen. In automotive, we use two different kinds because there are different grits, just like there is in sandpaper. Scotch Brite has different grits. There's fine and coarse. Red is the coarse, and we will not be using the red coarse.
Now, why wouldn't we use the red? That doesn't make sense.
Because it will scratch it. It will scratch it too deeply, and we're not trying to gouge it.
Right.
We just want to roughen it up so that the paint will adhere to it.
All right, hold on a minute. Why couldn't I go ahead and just take the 180 grit that I see here, or the at least 320? I mean, that's super fine sandpaper. Why couldn't I sand it with that?
Again, it's too coarse. Even though it's 320, and you're going to think, oh, well, I'll use water. And
okay, hold on. You said what? Oh, so I can't wet sand?
No.
Oh, I can't even wet sand it with like 400, 600?
No, can't even wet sand it at all.
Why not? Why?
Because the sanding paper is too rough. You must use Scotch
but wet
Brite
sanding, no.
when the bumper. Listen, Pete. Don't interrupt. When the bumper is bare plastic. When it comes to you with no sealer primer on it, you must use a grade, which is the fine grade Scotch Brite, so that you don't have deep scratches in the plastic, because the plastic is really soft and you will damage it, and then your prep job will take 3 times as long.
All right, so I get what you're saying about the Scotch Brite, but I'm still curious because usually when I get bumper covers in here and they got the primer on them, I go ahead and wet sand them down with 400.
Well, yeah,
why can't I just do that?
Yeah, that's because you're sanding the primer.
Right.
When there's no primer on it, the wet sandpaper is just going to glide over it and it's not going to do anything.
So basically what you're saying is when you're sanding raw plastic, it's like sanding a piece of ice. You have to really have something that grits down on it and sands it, but on the other hand doesn't gouge it or does nothing at all like wet sanding would do.
Right, right. And the best thing to use then is your gray Scotch Brite.
All right, so what's the situation, Minnie? Take us through the steps and show us what we got to do to prep our plastic bumper here to get it out of the shop and to get it painted.
All right, now Pete, of course, with his big giant hands would fold it in half and start sanding, but my hands are a lot smaller, so I like to fold it in three.
All right.
And that way you got a lot of surfaces to use because this does wear out. So just like when you're sanding with sandpaper, you got to change your sandpaper a lot because it wears out. You've got to,
So you actually, what you're saying, the Scotch Brite doesn't last forever.
No, it does not.
Okay.
It does not. So you can use this side, and
then you got 2 or 3, 4 other sides.
So
I
you got 6 sides basically.
Okay.
And you fold it like this.
All right, here we go.
You want to keep it flat. And you want to sand it just like you do anything else, with long, smooth strokes.
All right. Are you putting pressure on it in any way at all?
Yes, you're using a heavy hand because you do want to mar the surface. Because you've got to. If you focus in here, see how.
Right, I see what you're saying. It's making a nice rough surface.
And see how shiny this is and how you've dulled it.
Okay, but you're not gouging it and ruining the finish.
Right. Now, if you were using sandpaper, the coarseness of the sandpaper would be actually putting little gouges and streaks in it, which you don't want that because that'll show up in your paint.
Right.
You want a smooth, even,
texturized sanding.
Yeah.
Sanding technique.
So you use long strokes and a heavy hand.
Okay, I got a question. That's nice and dandy when you're doing this giant big surface here. What about right here? What's going on in here?
Yeah, this is your important.
What about that?
This areas where there's real defined angles and creases. That's going to be your problem area because that is where if you don't sand in the corner and get that crease roughed up, your paint's not going to stick there, and then it's going to start peeling from there. That's your most important areas because that's where your peeling will start if you don't get it.
All right.
So you want to use the corner of your
the corner of your Scotch Brite with your finger
and stick it right there in the corner and lots of pressure so that you get it right down into the corner all the way around.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Now it's all uniformly gray.
Right, I see that.
So you're good there. So every little crack and crevice.
What about right here though? How are we going to get that?
Well,
the same way or?
Perseverance. You just have you
work at it.
Work at it, exactly. You can get it. Ball this.
Elbow grease.
Stick it in there.
Elbow grease and positive attitude.
If you don't, you're going to be in trouble later down the line. It might not peel the first 6 months, but it'll peel sometime down the line when enough wind and water and air and stuff get to it.
Now we're not going to actually stand here and watch you sand this.
Oh, I hope
what's the prep time on this? Just the average prep time to go ahead and sand this down? Would you say 10 minutes, an hour?
10, 15 minutes.
10 or 15 minutes, and then that's me helping you, I guess.
It doesn't take long.
Okay, why don't I get a piece, and I'll start over here, and you start over there, and we'll get her done and move to the next procedure.
Get it done.
All right.
All right, we're all done scuffing down the bumper, but we found one little problem, a little bitty nick, and we're going to let Pete show you how to fix that.
If you look right here, you can see there is an imperfection right there that we found in the bumper. It's a nick. Now, what we got to do to fix that, we got to use this right here.
Uh-oh,
right.
That's what we said not to use.
Exactly. Now, taking this sandpaper, this is 180, this is 320, and sanding the whole bumper would ruin the bumper cover. But to prepare this area right here, there's no way out of it. And what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to feather that down and get rid of it. So we're gonna take a nice piece of 180 to start out with, and we're just gonna concentrate and keep everything contained in one little area. And if you watch real close, you can see it disappear as I sand it. And now if you look at it, you can see that there's gouges in it. Do you see that, Minnie? You see how I put sand marks in the bumper cover? So what we do is we don't want that. So what we'll do then is we'll take our 320 and then we are going to go ahead and scuff that area. But we're actually going to start feathering it out at this point. We're going to start feathering out our sand job to blend in, you might say. All right, there you go. Now once that's done, we're not done yet, because what we got to do now is take the red Scotch Brite. We're actually breaking down our surfaces and getting finer and finer. And if you watch real close, and then we go to the gray, and we're basically polishing the plastic at this point. We're basically just blending everything in, so when we paint it, it'll all look the same. And then once that's done, we have now went ahead and prepared our surface where we had a gouge or a scratch or something that we found. All right, so once we're done prepping up our bumper work, what would be the next step? Minnie, the body shop girl over here at SWRC DIY Auto School.
Our next step is cleaning off all the dust, because you can't leave the dust on there, of course, when you go to paint it.
Okay, we're not just talking dust though, we're talking impurities
and
residues,
oils from your hands.
Right.
Because even though you think your hands are really dry, there is oil in
And you know something, I just found something over here. If we look right here, if you notice, we scuffed this down, but look at these spots right here where I guess that's from the factory, or maybe from us touching it, this, that, and the other. Do you see that right there? So how are we going to get rid of that to make that surface sterilization-dull cleaned, where we'll be able to, okay, we're looking at wax and grease remover.
Yeah, this is wax and grease remover. We will not be using.
You're saying not to use that?
No.
Why wouldn't we use that?
Not on a plastic bumper.
Not on anything that's plastic, huh?
It has no primer on it, right.
So what are we going to use then to get it done right?
We're going to use plain old simple rubbing alcohol.
Why?
Because this will lift and dissolve all the impurities, all the residue, everything that's left on there. This is going to take it away.
So to apply that, well, I mean, would you use a kitchen towel, or what do you got to do?
Once again, you want to use, and this is automotive.
It's an automotive wipe-all brand. Lint-free, tax-free type.
If you don't use automotive, it's going to have lint in it, and then you're going to be in trouble.
And then you'll also get static electricity.
Yeah, and it's going to be left all over your bumper.
Okay.
So you always use an automotive wipe-all and rubbing alcohol.
And that's what we're doing to clean the bumper.
When you have plastic bumper.
Now we're talking raw plastic only, basically. Right. Okay, what about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, there's one more thing, and this is extremely important. This is the last thing. After you've wiped your bumper down and it's ready to go.
Now would this be like right before epoxy primer, sealer?
Right before you start spraying.
Okay.
You're going to put this on, and this is Adhesive Promoter. Adhesive, of course, is glue. Like glue, it sticks.
Right.
Promote means it helps.
So it's a
this
promoter.
This will help the paint stick. Your primer sealer.
Right.
Paint is going to.
Now, is that also like a flex additive? Let's see what that says here. So everybody, it says here that makes paint flexible. Okay, ready to paint in 5 minutes. And makes paint stick.
There you
go. So basically, that is pretty much designed for plastic in general.
Yeah.
Raw plastic, particularly.
Yeah. And it saves you a little bit of money because you don't have to add your flex additive like you normally do.
All right.
This is already built in.
Now, so we spray that on, and then after that's done, of course, that only takes a few seconds. We're ready.
5 minutes, and you're ready to spray.
Does that mean we could go ahead and just put the paint right on top of that, or would you still suggest to put epoxy primer first?
I would still suggest to put primer on there.
There you go.
Epoxy primer, it's a must.
All right.
You really can't skip a step. Can't do it.
Okay.
It won't come out right.
Thank you very much, Minnie the Body Shop Girl. Would you say by looking at this is prepped, ready to go in the paint booth, so my friend Pete can get her done and get it out of here?
Yes, let's get it done. Let's get it done. The guy wants his car back.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate all your help over here, as usual. And is there anything you got to say to anybody out there about anything in general in life, or Anything.
If you want something in life, work hard. And then maybe you'll get it.
That's a good answer. Thank you very much, Minnie the Body Shop Girl. So now you know how to prep your bumper cover ready for paint if you get it and it just happens to be raw plastic. These are the worst bumper covers to actually work on because there's always that notion that it might peel back on you if you don't prep it properly. Follow Minnie the Body Shop Girl's instructions and you too will be able to paint a bumper cover like the professionals.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.